Hi, I'm Selena.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Sade, and we are
Fave 3.
Thanks, guys, so much for tuning in to another episode of Raw. We'll be filling you guys in on some raw, uncut shit. So, no need to go around the elephant in the room, which is
For the world.
The elephant in the world. What is going on, America, with this fucking violence? Like, I really just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't see why it's necessary, why it's called for. Like, it's just honestly ridiculous.
I just feel like it's just it's such a tragedy. Like, nobody should be going through this. We've been past all that. Like, leave it back in 1960s. It was resolved back then. Why is it being brought up now?
Not to cut you off, but just to give our viewers kind of like an insight, even though some of them would know, some
just
of them
pisses
probably
me
don't know.
off.
But what exactly is it that you guys are referring to?
Well, recently, what has been going on was, as everyone knows, the shootings with the police officer shooting Mr. Alton Sterling, as well as Philando Castile. Yes, we do send our condolences to the family of those who were, involved in this tragedy.
And his friends that knew them.
Definitely. It was very tragic. So pretty much today we're just going to touch on that topic because it really hurt us, and it's really something that needs to be touched on, and everybody needs to know how like what's going on and be aware of like everything going on in the world. Like, how do you guys feel about what's been going on recently?
Well, besides the two that you just shouted out because they're so recent, this happens all the time. Just not all of them are broadcasted. Mm-hmm. And also there's some that happen that the news just doesn't feel like is important enough. Exactly. And I feel like there's also times where it occur and the news don't like post it up, but they won't tell the story because they're like, oh, another cop killed somebody. Right. Let's not put this one out.
Let's not put it up until the next one shows up. Like, no.
So I feel like the only reason that these two cases were so like public as they were is because the amount of proof that came with it, and the fact that her video, I actually didn't even like realize until a few days later that she didn't just post a video. It was like a live stream
on Facebook.
Like how, yeah, what's that app?
Periscope.
Yes, it's like she was on Periscope, but for Facebook. Mm-hmm. So her shit was live, like
it was.
And that's why
at that moment in time. That's the crazy part.
That, like as she was recording, why didn't officers probably? I was thinking, what if one of the officers would have told her to put her phone down, or what if, regardless, it was gonna be seen because as she recorded, it was posted. So it was just like that was one of the smartest things that she could have did that.
And I'm glad that they even like didn't even take the phone away from her. Like she was lit. Like she was able to hide it and still get them to like show proof as to what was going on right then and there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just like for those of you guys, like we did it, like most of you guys hopefully did your research on these cases. You're not just saying, oh my gosh, well, Black Lives Matter, justice. No, like the situation with Alton Sterling is absolutely disgusting. Just to jump back to that really quick. Quick summary, everyone knows he was killed in a gas station. I watched that video once, and I swear I did not want to watch it again because to me, I was like, bro, like, this is just so sad. It's so tragic. It's so uncalled for. Like, the man is hard down, already on the ground. Like, he's already on the floor. There's no need for you to be any more extra than you're already being to him. And he's restrained. Like, one officer has one arm.
Like, he's a big guy, but he doesn't need both of y'all on top of him. Like, he's not doing the most to have you guys, oh, let me tackle this man and jump on him so that way he doesn't do nothing. And the man's not even moving.
With police officers that I notice about
like,
them,
that's
like,
the shit
you
that
have to
pisses me
think
off.
these are people who get into this field because they like action. They like, like...
They want to save their country.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to help my people.
No, you don't.
want to help that. And I feel like they also, like, they like the adrenaline rush. They like all that.
You think you got the juice because you have a gun in your pocket?
No.
And I've seen cases before, like, literally, where it happens, like, local as shit. I was outside, and these boys, like, there's a bus stop that's right in front of my house, like, for school. And I guess somebody called the police on the school kids. The police officers came and was hard down, like, had his neck in the little boy's neck.
No. For what?
And, I mean, not his neck, hit his knee in the little boy's neck. And I'm not gonna call him a little boy. He's probably like 15, 16, because he was in high school, so he was like in the 9th grade. But still, regardless of what he did,
like, you don't need to do that.
You're a grown man. Your force is gonna beat his off rip. Like,
and I feel like
you in the gym, you eating good, you probably on your protein shakes. Like, nigga, you got energy. Like, your force,
and they're trained to like, you know, do this and whatever in their academy. That's fine. You can be trained to do it, but learn when to do it, when not to do it. Like, we understand that you're doing your job as a quote unquote police officer, but at the same time, you're trying to fix or resolve a situation that potentially was being like whatever, a tragedy to the community. Like, whatever that person was doing, you did not have to necessarily
just
the
situation worse.
Exactly. You did not have to just do all of that. Like, I remember in high school, I seen a police officer Callahan. I'm gonna put your name out there because nobody fucked with you at our school. And he dead ass, like, I seen this man. The man was riding on a scooter, and he was just like, "Oh, stop riding the scooter on school property." Why? The man was literally just riding down his scooter on the school property, going the fuck home. And the man literally chased after this boy, dropped him on his fucking head. I told you not to get. I told you to get off the fucking scooter. The man heard you. He was getting off the fucking scooter. Like, what you got to do all of that for?
Bro, to be
that shit pisses me
honest,
the fuck
I feel like some officers nowadays can't wait for an opportunity like that because they feel like, oh, this is my moment. Oh, look at this black guy. Like, let me try to take him out. I can do this because I know I'm gonna get away with it. You know, like, I feel like now, like, okay, I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Alton Sterling situation happened, and the very next day, this other situation happened. Therefore, that police officer who did that
was very well aware of.
Exactly. And the fact that I feel like all of these past experiences and all these past issues, all these officers got scot-free, clean away with it. That's how I feel sometimes. Like, I feel like some officers do certain things because they know that they're not going to get in trouble for
it. And what's really pissing me off is, like, there's people out there who don't even, like, all these children that are getting killed by these police officers, they have families, you know, and all these families are just trying to have justice, and nobody wants to fix the situation. That's why everybody's upset, because, yeah, it's involving with the racism and everything like that, but nobody's putting a stop to it. They're just letting it continue or bringing back old situations. Okay, you're bringing back up to this and that, to the Trayvon Martin situation, the Eric, I forgot his last name, Eric Gardner situation. Like, okay, those situations happens, but did it resolve anything? Clearly not. Absolutely because not. Look what's going on now. Like, that just pisses
and it's
me
crazy
off.
You mentioned that the victims have families, because when the Trayvon Martin case was going on and George Zimmerman was on trial, their biggest defense was his family's gonna miss him. He's a good family man. He's this, he's that.
How is Trayvon?
So why'd you shoot him?
Exactly. I'm pretty sure they're like, one of the hardest things, which I've heard, I can't say because I haven't been in this situation. One of the hardest things is to bury your child. So how do you think they feel? How do you think his family, his friends feel? Like, it was like, how do you think all the kids in his
boy,
right? The kids that were in his class, his best friend, his girlfriend, like, everybody. And I think they don't even think that far. But to think realistically speaking, as like a person or a victim,
an outsider,
facts, in front of the person with the gun in front of a police officer, in that very moment, the last thing that's on a police officer's mind is, oh, if God forbid I kill this person or injure them, how is their family going to feel? The only thing that's on their mind is, I have the authority to do this, so if I have any reason to, I'm going to do it, and I know I'm not going to get in trouble for it. Why? Because I'm licensed. I'm licensed to kill. I'm licensed to have a gun, and this is my job. So they're probably just thinking on the other side of the gun, if I do shoot this person, it was my job. They gave me reason. I have possible reason to, and possible cause, and all this shit.
They did not give you a reason.
Like,
that's your own cause and effect.
You need to have a whole hypothesis. Think about this shit. Have a trial, experiment. Think about it. Shit, is this nigga worth, like, getting shot? Should I? Now, you don't even have to think that far, because you shouldn't even have to pull your gun off rip.
Exactly.
Just think about, is this person even worth me giving a ticket to? Is this person even worth me citing? Like, whatever. Like,
that's the thing that we're all upset about, is because they don't think. They're going after the smallest things that these people are doing. Oh my gosh, I'm selling CDs in front of a store. Like, that's just minor.
Is not only are they going off of these people, they're going off of these black people. Because 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, if it's a white guy selling CDs, you're just going to say, hey, man, get your stuff and get out of here.
Or just look at him like a bum and just tell him to go to the next store.
Boy walking down the street with a hoodie on in Arizona, and I'm pretty sure George Zimmerman is not going to try to shoot him. If it's a white guy that's in the car pulling
pull
out
over, ask me if you need a ride.
If it's a white guy pulling out his driver's and registration, I'm pretty sure you're going to spark up a random conversation with him. You're not going to pull out your gun and you shoot him. So that's the other thing that's just like so crazy at the fact that these officers are really taking. It's like
they're not giving them a chance to even explain like themselves at all.
Absolutely no reason to do what you're doing. Absolutely none. Regardless if you have the authority, like Kayla said, regardless if you have a license to kill, you have absolutely no reason to pull out your gun and shoot an innocent, unarmed man at any given point in time.
And mind you, do you not think about the other people who are in the car? What's pissing me off about this whole situation is the lady who for the Facebook Live. Yeah, excuse me, his fiance and his daughter in the backseat of the car. Like, did you not think about who's in the car? Let's just say you shot at the car, you hit the daughter. Now what? You shooting the freaking person that you're going after's kid. Like, what if that was your daughter? What if that was your son? Like, how would you feel? All these people are just going after, oh, he's black. Let me just stereotype him. I'm sure he has a gun. I'm sure he has this and that. Let me just shoot him. No, you can't do that. That's just being stereotypical. And that's what I feel like all these racist cops, because I'm pretty sure everybody has driven through the southern parts of the United States and ran into racism with the cops because it's very common in those states, and that's the trash thing because they are still like, oh, if they're black, mindset. I'm gonna just go after them. I'm just gonna put them in jail. I don't care. I'm just gonna do what they want because I'm white and da da da. Like, no, you can't. Sorry, sir, you're wrong. You have the right to remain fucking silent, nigga. The fuck. I just pissed me. Oh, sorry, y'all. I just went in for a second.
There you go.
Shit.
But it's like to bring it back, like to a step back, like about Trayvon Martin.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this all, of course, you know, it started way back when, like back to slavery times, back to like how people say we come from Africa and all these people steal our jewels and they steal our tradition. They still like taking it back to like more like recent. You have Trayvon Martin, and you have cases like that. You have a case like Eric Garner, which was in July 2014, 43-year-old man in New York chilling on the block, minding his business, selling fake cigarettes. Okay, the man want to
make money. Gotta hustle. The fuck?
And what happened to him? He was unarmed, and he got illegally placed in a chokehold. That's illegal by an officer, and yelled out multiple times that he could not breathe. I believe it was 11 times, and nobody did anything. They watched this man die, and all these officers, they don't get charged.
People on the street are just watching this, like they're just standing there. Oh, he just laying flat on the ground. What do we do? It was our fault.
Exactly. But
okay.
In that situation, who do you call? Because the person that you're supposed to call is the person that's doing this crime.
Exactly, and that's why people are out there like, I don't feel safe, and I don't this and that, because look what it's becoming. Like, look how everyone's looking at it. Like, nobody wants their child to grow up and look up to these people supposedly. Oh, they're police officers. You have to do what they say or else they're going to shoot you. Like, no, you can't tell your kids that. Like, you can't do that. That's just something that you're not supposed to tell your children. Your children are supposed to be like, oh, maybe one day I want to be a police officer. Oh, maybe one day I want to be a firefighter. But then now they're looking at it like, oh, they're shooting my father. They shooting my uncle. Like, I don't want to be a police officer. You're supposed to set an example, not... Like, that's exactly what Martin Luther King did. He set an example as what not to do for the future, and now we're bringing that shit right back. Like, he had a dream that one day... Finish the sentence, y'all.
Go ahead, Selena.
It's on Google, and when I find a speech, I will read it to y'all, but I don't got it right now. But, you know, y'all could do that on your own time and really understand that and maybe send it to these officers in Baton Rouge, wherever else they're having these shootings at, and have them read it and rewrite it. The fuck? Like, that's what's not... It just pisses me off because nobody's really putting a stop to this, like, crime. It's just not cool at all. Because now we just have to worry about our future and our family.
You always have to worry about your future and your family. But in the case that you just mentioned earlier, Sade, with them pretty much strangling the guy to death, I feel like what they were thinking in that case was, oh, their life is automatically more important than ours. Like, than his. Like, oh, we were called to this block, to whatever, to this guy selling fake CDs. Oh, he's a bum. He's this. He has no education. He's a black man outside hustling. Like, he's trying to make money. They're probably thinking, oh, we don't want him in the streets of our town, in our city, all like this. Like, hey, let's strangle him to death.
No.
Whatever happened to talking things out or asking him? Like, you're also, not only are you supposed to be there to protect, but you're supposed to be there to help. Now you're just there harming and scaring. Like,
definitely scary.
Exactly. And then, like, exactly how you said, the people on the streets who are witnessing, who the hell are they going to call? The police, so his homeboy could come and strangle you too for calling?
No.
Might as well just call Obama because we feel like he's going to fix the situation because that's the only person we feel like can.
Just like Alton Sterling, the police was called on him because a homeless guy was begging him for money. And then after him and the homeless guy got into it, he's like, yo, I'm not giving you no money, B. Like, stop asking me.
Straight up. And the homeless guy was what? He was white.
Exactly.
And look, and now he's still homeless, probably chilling.
The homeless guy doesn't get in trouble, and the homeless guy doesn't get anything said to him because he's also soliciting, and he's also begging, and he's harassing the black guy. But when the cop gets there, the black guy is automatically wrong.
Because, like I said, there's being stereotypical.
So now, nobody knows what I don't want to call him, the asker, the guy who was asking for the money. Nobody knows, was he armed or whatever he had in his pocket, but now nobody's going to care to check because why? Just because Alton was defending himself against him. They said the reason why he called the police on him is because he showed him the gun, like, yo, look, I got a gun, back off.
Oh, that's Philando, yeah.
He's just defending himself at the end of the day. He didn't hurt him. He didn't fucking gun butt him with the gun. Like, he didn't slap him with the shit. He showed it to him like, yo, back off. Like, I'm out here doing the man is at work,
business,
hustling, doing his thing. Like, he doesn't have time for that.
To go back to his wife and kids.
Exactly.
And then, mind you, the police officer already had him down. The man wasn't moving at all. And he just pulls out his gun. Not shot him once, pulled back the trigger again, and then shot him again. For what? The man already lifeless right there. Like, what's the whole point of shooting him? To make sure he's dead? Like, just to have confirmation?
And I feel
that's not
like
cool.
Alone, he was out there selling CDs. He could have been selling drugs. He could have been selling people, fucking trafficking people. He could have been not saying just because
he could have stolen from the store.
He could have stolen from
but
the
he
store.
was just hustling, like
stolen goods, jewelry that he robbed from somebody's house. Like, the man is out here selling CDs. And I was reading on like more reports, and they were saying like in his city, he was known as a CD man, like the typical nice little, chunky little
Big
CD man, always
Albert,
in a good mood,
Alton,
right?
Like, you know, and
but the cops don't realize that.
Gold,
he just has goals. He just got a big red shirt. Oh, I'm blood, this and that. And yeah, that's all they see. And they're just going to do everything that they can just to get him in trouble, just like cops pretty much do, I feel like.
All cops do is fucking, they mislead and they misread. Like, they sit there and they go about what they think. Because another example that I have is the little kid, Tamar Rice. You have him. You have Michael Brown, especially. Michael Brown was in August of 2014 in Ferguson, which is actually what started all those riots, which started everything. 18 years old, shot. Then you have Tamar Rice. Same fucking year, I think it was November 2014 in Cleveland, a 12-year-old boy. And why did he get killed? A 12-year-old boy got killed because a stupid police officer mistaken his toy for a gun. His toy gun. Okay, you're a 12-year-old kid.
For what exactly?
For a real gun.
Oh.
What would possibly make you think that
a 12-year-old little boy, a little black boy, excuse us,
minding his business, has a real gun in his hand?
Why? Because they're probably thinking, okay, he's black, he's young, he's probably influenced by a dad or some other black figure in the house that knows how to shoot guns. Therefore, he learned how to shoot a gun.
No. So got him a toy gun
and is running around with it, in which he can potentially shoot this officer, which accused him of having a gun.
Oh my gosh, I'm so scared of a 12-year-old.
By this young boy because he had a gun, so I automatically thought to shoot him.
Yeah.
And that's not even the only one. I read about this other case actually as we were looking into like this whole discussion, and another one, how Kayla said some of them don't get brought up, some of them don't get a lot of attention, but there is this guy, his name is Romain Bribson, and this was December of 2014 as well, and he lived in Cleveland, and he's 34 years old, and he was shot, he was unarmed, of course, and was shot by a white police officer because they mistaken a bottle of pills for a gun. Wow. And they shot him. How do you mistake? They mistaken it for a weapon. They must
have wanted to kill this man from jump.
They probably been seen
it as an excuse. That's what happened.
What would make you think that a pill bottle, which
that
is
makes
the size
no
of my
sense.
middle finger, is a weapon?
Oh, they feel threatened because he's going inside of his pocket. Oh my gosh, he could be going for his license.
No, I don't even think he was going into his pocket. That's
he probably just had the pill bottle.
He just had a pill bottle. Like, you have a bottle of pills, nigga. That could be his diabetes pills. My mom has diabetes pills, so God forbid my mom's walking down the street and she's about to take her pills. You're gonna shoot her because you think it's a weapon?
And if she, just because the police officer is like, oh, excuse me, ma'am, turn around, and she just literally just has the pills in her hands, God forbid, like, no, you can't do that.
Exactly.
Right.
And I know that they just abuse their authority and don't even ask questions to do anything before, because I just had a perfect example from what Sade just said. One time we were just literally outside chilling. Long story short, the police came and they were like harassing some of our homeboys. So me and Sade are just overlooking the situation. Like we're standing probably like 20, I'm not even going to say 20, probably like a good 20, like 15 to 20 feet away from where everything is going down. So right now there's probably like 2 police officers there and they both have our back turned to me and Sade. Exactly.
The hottest city of the freaking world.
Yeah, in the state of Florida, if you guys don't know. But, yeah, we're just standing there and the police officer turns around. He's like, can you guys just walk away or go upstairs from me because I feel threatened? You guys are standing behind me and I don't want to have to turn around and, turn around and do what, sir? Turn around and shoot us?
By 2 girls.
Because 2 girls are standing behind you.
Young woman.
And mind you, this is a big, buff, white man. Like, that could take me and Sade probably with one hand behind his back.
But stuff him in a car.
Right? And then the fact that right after he goes, I feel threatened, I don't want to have to turn around and do what?
What are you really about to really do? They didn't make you feel threatened at all.
Those are the little things that I mean when I say that they just take advantage. He knows that he has the authority to tell us to back up, and he knows that if we don't, and then he says something is, oh, boom, easy charge of resisting arrest, like quick and simple, just like that. They just be trying to look to bring people down for no absolute reason.
And it's fucking disgusting.
He could have said anything to us. He could have said, oh, are these your friends? Are these your family members? Okay, well, wait upstairs until
That's what
done.
I thought.
Or
Like police officers usually do before they make an arrest or anything like that.
Really ready, like he was just in the negative area. Like
do some investigation before you fucking do anything.
Our brothers.
And then that reminds me of another story. The girls and I recently we went on a trip to Atlanta. And we were minding our business. We got ready. We're all in a good mood. It's early.
Bro, this was ridiculous.
6 Flags, like, ooh, like 3 cute girls, like, oh yeah, 6 Flags, excited. So we're driving and we get to a stoplight and there's a police officer to our right and he's just staring into the car. Now, mind you, we have a rental, so there's barely any tints. So he's staring into the car and we're just like, okay, so he's staring at me and everyone who knows me knows I'm very sarcastic. So if you're looking at me, like, what are you looking at? Like,
police officer or not?
I'm going to give you a reason.
Fuck.
So he's staring at me, so I wave at his ass, like, hi, hello, hola, ¿cómo está? Like, how you doing?
Yeah.
The light turns green and Kayla's like, I feel like this guy, or Selena, one of them was like, I feel like this guy's going to try to pull us over. Sure enough, he pulls us over.
For no reason.
For absolutely no reason. So he gets into the car and he's like, oh, I'm pulling you over because your little sister back there looks like she doesn't have her seatbelt on. Our little sister, who is he referring to? Kayla. Kayla's in the backseat. Kayla's the oldest one. She's 21 years old. She's not a little girl. You have absolutely no reason.
And you don't necessarily have to wear your seatbelt in the back seat, little guy.
You see 3 black young ladies in Atlanta, Georgia, and you feel some type of way. So after that, we told him that he, like Kayla, she's of age. She's in the back seat. She does not need her seatbelt on, sir. We know our rules. We know our rights. He leaves. He comes back. He asks for all of our licenses. Then he's like, I need you to step out the car. The driver, can you step out the car?
Mind you, as he's asking for all of our licenses, he's not even being polite. He's like, okay, well, since she wasn't like, wearing her thing, let me just, check and see if you guys are okay and then send you on your way. No, fuck all that. He skipped that whole part.
So he takes Selena out the car. Then he calls me out the car. Then he calls Kayla out the car. So he calls me and then he's just pretty much saying, oh, well, the car smells like marijuana and I'm going to search the car. I just want you to know if I find anything, all 3 of you guys are going to jail. And I'm just
Wrong.
Like, excuse me, sir? And I'm like, okay, first of all, it's a rental. Like, we're not idiots. We don't have any marijuana on us at all. And we're not stupid enough to bring marijuana and smoke in a rental car
or
with
are
no
we?
tints. Like,
no tints as fuck in another state like that.
And even if we are stupid enough,
we'll be smart enough.
And it's not even that. Even if, let's just say, to give us the benefit of the doubt in the situation, even if we are stupid enough to smoke in a car, a rental, because it does happen. People go on vacation and people smoke. If they want to smoke in the car, so be it. Yes, it's illegal, but at the same time, you cannot automatically just say you're gonna arrest us because it's actually a law now. You have to cite us depending on how much weed or marijuana, how much drugs, however much it is, we can get a citation. He was so quick to say, oh, you guys are going to jail, off rip. 3 black girls, like, I'm having a wonderful Tuesday evening, like, this is what I wake up for in the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, he didn't even give us a chance to explain what was going on. He didn't even know that we were from another state. He just automatically assumed we were doing something wrong. He wanted to take us to jail, which is pretty much what's going on now. Like,
and I feel like it all has to do with looks. Like, I feel like it all goes back to how we look because, like, before Sade ended up waving to him, And then before I said I feel like we were going to get pulled over, he was staring at me in the back seat first. And that's when I leaned back to put my seatbelt on. And then that's when he said, like Sade waved to him. So I'm thinking, what was the cause that this man had to pull us over besides me not having my seatbelt on? Because I'm pretty sure he drives past hundreds of cars a day with people in the backseat without their seatbelt on.
And if they do look, they are going to put their seatbelt right back on.
Exactly.
So what was the whole point of you even coming over?
It all goes back to how you look. And when you think about it, I was looking into the Philando Castile case, and right before he got pulled over, the cop that ended up shooting him like made a call to the dispatcher and was like, oh, okay, because right before you call, like, pull over somebody exactly, regardless of what it is, you have to call it in and let it be known,
book it,
I'm about to pull this motherfucker over, right? So this is where the part where I just feel like it's so messed up. Like, I'll actually say fucked up. Like, it's so fucked up. Because he pulled them over, and the reason of what his probable cause was, he, like, literally says this exact thing. He goes, I'm going to pull them over. And then after he says that, he goes, I have a probable cause. So then they go, like, what's your probable cause? He goes, it looks like a suspect. Like, that's why. He just looks like a possible suspect.
For what?
Why?
For what?
Why, right? So then you ask yourself, why does he look like a possible suspect? And why does he look like a possible suspect? Because of his wide set nose.
He did not say that.
That's
Literally,
what
quote,
you called
unquote, because of his wide set
racism.
nose.
Oh, that nigga has to go to jail.
Right? So you're going to pull this person over because he looks like a possible suspect. He has a big nose. That's a typical black person trait.
Stereotypical. For everything. That's the answer.
White people got big
Fuck.
noses.
Facts.
Like, I don't get it. Spanish people have big noses.
Jews don't get pulled over for their for different things like that.
That's
Like,
not why you pulled him over. You pulled him over because he was fucking black.
Exactly.
You pulled him over because he was probably not in a new car. You pulled him over because there was other 2 black people with him, and you wanted your fucking lucky day to catch a body.
He literally said,
and
then the fact that he put the word just in front of it just goes to say that he had no meaning behind it.
Absolutely
he just looks like a suspect, so I'm going to arrest him. And then literally 2 minutes later, he dispatched another call that said code 3. Why? Because he shot and killed the man. Cold blood in front of his whole family.
All because he was reaching for a gun license that he did have.
All because he had a big nose.
All because he had a big nose. Long story short. Because if he was driving and he had a small, narrow, white... Okay, let me not just call it out and let me not be stereotypical. But if he was driving
a regular
car
nose
and he had,
that wasn't wide, I guess.
Typical narrow bridge nose, like most white people do, white Caucasians do, he would never got pulled over. The man would have carried his family home safely to their destination. But because he's black, God made him that way. God also made him with a wide nose. He got pulled over. Like, that doesn't make absolutely no sense to me.
Like, how am I supposed
that
to
right
feel?
there?
I
Like,
have
he
big
needs to get
hair.
charged just because of that. Like, they need to put this man.
I have a big nose too.
In the chairs. I got a great freaking scent box over here, and I'll be damned if I get pulled over, God forbid, or anything like that to that extent, just for being stereotyped.
You know what I feel about these 2 situations, though? I know, like the other ones in the past, issues that we brought up are bad, and none of them, quote unquote, none of these officers, none of these people were armed, and none of these cases have been solved. None of these officers got charged.
Actually,
and it's 20 plus,
Fidel,
people.
Right.
Philando and Alton, they both were armed, but they weren't, I feel like they weren't, like, the police weren't caused there for their guns that they were armed with being at use. Exactly. You know, maybe a little bit with Alton, but at the end of the day, if you guys see, there was like multiple videos released from when he actually got shot, but from one of the ones that went viral, like, you see one of the police officers that was more towards his head ended up taking something out of his pocket like 2, 3, 4 seconds after the fact, and they say what he took out of his pocket was a handgun, which was the same handgun that he probably showed the peddler that was asking him for money. So then
the peddler.
Yeah.
Great job. Great word.
So then with the Philando case, even his fiance in the video said that he just was reaching for his gun license to show him, and then at the end they said that there was a gun ended up being in the car. Yes, but when he was pulled over, did he point the gun at you?
No, when he got pulled over, he stated, "Look, I have a gun,"
exactly.
Which is what you're supposed to
and that's
do.
exactly what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
If you have a gun license,
You
as
let
soon
it
as
be
you
known.
get
Or
into the
anything
officer,
that revolves violence, you let the officer know beforehand so that they're aware of it.
And then it's crazy because because he let the officer know, like, hey, look, I have a guns license, and he's pretty much yelling out, hey, don't shoot me because I have proof as to why you don't shoot me. That's what I feel like he was saying.
He didn't even get a chance to even say it.
And just like every other American who watched this video, well, I can only speak for myself. Like, I was really, 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 really touched by this video. So I was just like really looking into it and keeping up to date with it all the days that it's, because it's fresh. Like, it hasn't even been a week yet. Well, actually, it just made a week since it's Thursday, and it happened last week Wednesday.
Right.
But it's still just super fresh. And I was reading into it, and they say that he was at his mom's house earlier in the week with his sister and the same little girl that was in the video, and he was having a conversation with his mom, and they just happened to start talking about the police in the world and how police are just killing black people. And while he's having that conversation, he has no idea he's going to die a week later by a police officer as he's having this conversation with his mom. And then he tells his mom, like, these exact words. Like, him and his sister have this conversation, and they say, with the police officers, they shoot first and then act later. And then he dies by
okay, but when you shoot first,
situation.
you need to know what you're shooting for. Like, that's the thing that I don't get. They don't go into investigation with the situation. Like,
let a black cop pull over a white guy and shoot the white nigga, then what's gonna happen? That guy's gonna go on fucking trial and go to jail, lose his job, do all this shit. Because why? Because America's fucking racist. Straight up. And then the way that I feel about it is that I know all the situations in the past, like I was saying, have been different, but I really have like a feeling about these two, and I actually feel like that something is going to be done because there's way too much proof and there's way too much evidence and there's way too much.
That's exactly what I was thinking
with that. Like with what Kayla said, how they have the recording.
It went viral. Like the whole.
No, not even that, because they all go viral.
Yeah.
Like how Kayla has the recording. How she said there's a recording beforehand when he called it in. How the lady is live streaming it. How he told them he has his license. There's a little girl. Like, I feel like with that situation alone, there's way too much evidence for this guy to not get charged. I feel like with Alton Sterling, it's the same situation. Like, in the video, you clearly see he's restrained. You clearly see he's not causing anybody any harm. And the man hard down puts the gun to his chest and just shoots him, like, after he's already been on the floor.
And you can see the fact that his hands are laid flat on the ground. Like, what were you scared of? Like, what was he really going to do about that? Like, that made no sense.
If they don't get charged, then this is really a crazy world we live in. And they don't even have to do the fucking poll voting because Trump done won already.
Exactly.
Like, just automatically.
No kids for my future.
I'm afraid.
As bad as that sounds, because you know, like that's what a lot of people are gonna go through now. They're scared of like allowing their kids to grow up in the world that we live in. The government is all fucked up, like as we all know. Not necessarily saying it's completely fucked up, but from what we know, it's going through its own little thing. And the poll voting. Trump versus Hillary, like, what is going to happen with that? We're going to go into a war
Trump
with that?
Can't fucking win this shit.
Yeah.
Like, straight up.
He
can't.
It's the same way. And it's just
really
thinking
can't.
if these police officers actually don't get convicted, you have to literally sit here and stare at the TV and ask why. And then
why are you watching the news?
That's the government and all the cops are going to be mad when the roads start getting shut down. The protesting goes hand because not only is there just a video, there's a video of Alton Sterling and there's also a video of Philando, but the Philando video is, am I pronouncing his name right? Philando. His video is just way too detailed. It's way too clear. It's way
it's proof.
There's a witness.
There's so much proof.
No, there's witnesses because there were 2 cops on the scene. So there's the cop who shot him. There's his homeboy. There's a little girl.
Fucking homeboy.
There's the fiance. Let's not say the man's about to get married soon. And then there's a whole entire world because it's live stream. So that's the fact. And then it's like there's clear footage. Exactly. That you can literally see him taking
from start to finish
few dying breaths on the camera. And not only is there clear footage of him doing that, there's clear footage, clear sound of an angry officer. Like if you guys listen to his responses, like after he shoots him,
no remorse.
Bro, he's literally like
they're not even calling the ambulance or anything.
No, they called, but you can just tell that he's aggravated. Like he's just like, I told him to put his hand out. So the fuck what? If he doesn't listen to you, you shoot him. That's how it works. He's like he should never went out. Like I told him to do this. Just because you say something doesn't mean it automatically goes.
Exactly. He's not threatening you in no way for you to automatically assume that he's gonna hurt you.
He doesn't work for you. He doesn't have
You're
to
not
say,
God.
You don't run the world.
You're only been nigga who clocks in, puts on a badge, clocks out, and goes home to your wife and probably your 4-year-old, and you're not gonna imagine somebody come up to you and shoot you because you don't put your hands where they tell you to put your hands.
And let's not mention you only been doing this for 4 years. You're no professional.
And then the
guys,
first
no type
one,
of,
I'm not even gonna get into
what's
it.
that
because
word
it's just
called?
pissing me off.
that we use at work all the time.
Rapport,
Seniority.
experience, no seniority.
No seniority, sore.
Seniority.
But no, I feel like looking forward, I honestly feel like that Obama should be able to do something. I feel like there has to be a way that he can literally say, okay, these 2 officers have to go to jail.
At least put justice, like bring
absolutely.
justice to the families of these killings.
If
at
their
least.
city isn't going to do it, and if their district zone sheriff isn't going to do it, and if nobody, I feel like Obama can at least do that before he gets out of the presidency or something, because these officers, they have to be held accountable for.
But you know how long it's gonna take just a trial and to prosecute him, and how many times, like, it's gonna be such a long process, because the George Zimmerman process was so long alone, and they
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's
had
like
no
3
video.
years.
And I feel like even till this day, they're just going to drag it out, because the information that I mentioned earlier about the recording and about the officer calling in the dispatcher and saying he just looks like a possible suspect, they said that recording wasn't confirmed that it was the officer, but the license plate was confirmed, the time, and the location address, like everything was confirmed. It's literally clear as day that he was the officer that called in and made that report. But of course, I feel like there's going to be some way that they're going to fingle with it and mess with it so that it can't be used, and that
or he's not going to get his,
out.
his, like, what's that word called? He's not going to get penalized for the situation. Like, he's just going to go back to work in a couple of weeks, while everything dies out, and, like...
Just like all these other cases.
Exactly.
It's crazy to me in all these scenarios. Like, let's just say we were to give these cops the benefit of the doubt, and let's just say, okay, 2 of them were armed, or however many, because we're not only speaking for Alton and for Londo just because they're most recent. We're speaking for all the situations that happened, all the ones that went unnoticed, all the ones that didn't get no TV or news time, all the ones that didn't go viral. It still happened. There still were lives lost. There still were families that are still mourning and still getting over this stuff. It still matters. It's still important. Like, Black lives still matter regardless of how it's broadcasted or regardless of how many people know about it.
It still
But
matters.
if we were to give them the benefit of the doubt, why were none of these officers, like, Black that shot the other Black people?
Exactly.
Like, why were they all Caucasian? That's what I don't understand. Why, if it was their own race, I feel like they would at least show a little bit more sympathy. And it's just because of the fact that it's the complete opposite race than themselves, why they feel the need to take these precautions.
I seen this video of, I believe it was like a panel of 12 officers, and they were all like minorities. So, like, let's just say 9 of them were Black, 2 was Spanish, and 1 was white. 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So it was like that, and they were on the TV show, and they were being interviewed, and the lady was just saying, it was like a daily talk show or something like that. And they were just coming out and stepping forward and saying, look, like, we're officers in our city, and we're against what our sheriffs and what the people
There's a guy on
above us are telling
Instagram
us to
who's
do.
doing that.
And then they were just pretty much saying that how, like, they're aware of the fact that their sergeants tell them to go out and do certain things, and they're against it. And, of course, the other officers, they do it. And I guess it's, like, something where, like, you have to bring in numbers. You know how, like, at the end of the month, they always, like, try to pull people over and try to get their numbers up. Like, it's a certain amount of levels that you have to get, like, for
to like, maintain your job.
or something like that. And apparently these cops were saying how they don't agree with it because they feel like it's wrong, because it feels like they're just penalizing random people and they're penalizing innocent people just to get a certain number at the end of the month. And it's just like, there were no white cops there, clearly, because they were saying that these cops don't ever complain when the other officers or the other sergeants tell them to do it, because they mainly tell them to target the minorities. So it was just crazy seeing actual police officers saying that, because
they know what's up.
Their jobs, they're risking their lives, they're risking all this by coming.
They know the little fine print that they have to read, and they know all that information.
Yeah.
It's just who is going to put forth that effort and trying to make the community a better place.
And it sucks for the cops that are actually doing their jobs and that actually aren't stereotyping, and they're actually giving everybody their rights that they deserve. And it's so crazy. We actually, besides the scenario, the story that Sade told you guys when we were in Atlanta and getting harassed by a cop, it happened to us again another time on our way from North Carolina. And with that
was ridiculous.
Just to sum that encounter up, they didn't even want to tell us our rights. They just went right into it.
You guys are going to jail.
Right? And then at the end of the day...
The car's getting towed.
Right?
You might as well just park it right here.
Just right. And at the end of the day, we ended up going free. Why? Because God was on our side, number one.
Always.
And it's just because
All
we
the
weren't
time.
doing anything wrong. And I'm just really just trying to sit here like, are they trying to scare us?
And we stood up for our rights, though.
Exactly.
We told these niggas exactly what was going to go down. Read the fine print.
If it wasn't for us knowing our rights, rights, let's just say we would not be telling the story how we're telling it, because we would have been
And we're
so
very
sad, and we was just gonna be so. Why? Because we knew our rights, and we knew, like, we literally had to tell them, look,
Hold on a
actually
second.
know that the judicial law states that like
Under
y'all not
20
coming for us.
So
like,
word of
not
advice
coming for
is
us.
to definitely know your rights.
Always
what
know
to
your
say.
rights.
Like if you feel lame because you don't know, it's okay because I don't know all of mine. Just Google it, take a screenshot.
Yeah, it's a
and
real
just
life
keep it in your
situation.
phone.
We could have
Exactly.
almost gone to jail if we didn't know our rights. Like that's a
Exactly.
real shit, like real
And
story.
that's not fair
because they're gonna
everybody's
take that you not knowing anything and just
Exactly.
run with it. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, these are just 3 little gullible little girls who don't know their
Exactly.
rights, and they're in another state just driving around in their mom's car and blah blah blah. No, sir,
In their
wrong.
mom's car. And that's actually another reason why black people are targeted, because they automatically assume they don't know any better.
Exactly.
They have no
Exactly.
fucking idiot
That's
like
the worst
something.
thing, like,
We're not
to even
Sorry.
bring up. Oh, this pisses me off. But that just shows you guys that, I mean, as bad as it sounds and as bad as we don't want to do it, we just have to be aware of the police officers and just know exactly what to say around them, because you definitely don't want to lose your life.
to know what
You
to
have
say.
you have to make sure you know what to say. You have to just be aware of your surroundings.
Definitely don't be ignorant. Like sometimes
Facts.
it's hard because you're like,
Hold it
"You're not telling me
in.
what to do." And this isn't just for black people. This is for Spanish people. This is for other white people. This is for like everybody. Like don't be ignorant, because if you try to be ignorant, you just
They're just gonna use it to your their advantage.
Exactly. Just
Exactly.
like try as bad as you don't want to, suck up your pride, try to cooperate, hit them with the facts, pull up your motherfucking
Finesse.
your declaration.
Like literally, the best thing to do is comply. You want my license? Don't
There you
shoot
go.
me. Let me
Don't
get
shoot
this
me.
shit first.
Let me have it out and
Like,
ready
can
for you
I
before.
please
Like, put your
get
gun
it?
away.
You have a
before-
question,
Leave.
yes, sir. Like, don't shoot. I'm just trying to give you this. Like, I'm here.
Put very
Like,
much
the-
emphasis on the
other
word "don't."
day-
The phrase
sorry
"don't
to cut you
shoot."
off, but literally,
You're fine.
You put that on your windshield and
Bruh,
little
you need a new
letters,
sticker,
like, don't
like-
shoot in the back. But anyways, the other day I got pulled over because it was like probably it was like 7:50 and I had work at 8 and I was like
I gotta hit it.
I was
Hitting
so far from work, so you best believe, like full throttle, speeding to work. I get pulled over because this cop was literally bent down, hiding in the bush. Like the man
They
walked
be
into the middle.
schemed out. Just
So schemed out.
detailing.
He walked into the middle of the road with his gun and got my ass. I was like, wow, like I can't go no way around it. I was in the mood. I was on some like, there's no point in trying to squeeze my way out of this ticket because bitch, the man got me doing 55 and a 30.
That's
like
automatic.
I was hard down speeding. So I'm like, okay, cool. The man come to my window. Oh, do you know I put you over because you're speeding? Okay, cool. After that, I'm getting all my license, my registrations, my license and my registrations ready to show him. And then he automatically just starts talking, but making small talk, negative small talk. Like, oh, and you know, if you weren't speaking,
They always try to come with
Always,
slick comments, like,
always.
And they think that we're not gonna say nothing about it. We could kill your ass with kindness.
Doesn't matter. You guys know. I
don't
had
care
to
about
literally
you.
cut this man off. You know what I told him? Like, straight. I told this man, if you're gonna give me a ticket, can you please hurry up because I got somewhere to be.
Straight up.
Clearly I was speeding.
Like, you stopped me
I
for
had
a
somewhere to be.
reason.
Speeding.
Cut it with the small talk,
Like,
nigga.
I don't need to talk to you, my nigga, because you're about to give me a ticket and I'm not trying to pay
So
for
what
it.
is the point? Like that's where it goes to show I don't have to waste my breath on saying anything else to you, and vice versa too. Like let's just keep it by the books. We know what we here for.
Facts.
Like we know why we're brought here today because I'm doing something wrong and you're trying to reprimand me. Cool, give me my ticket. I got work to be to. I don't
Keep
got to
it
sit
moving.
here and talk to you.
And I'm not
That's
trying to get shot.
And I'm not trying to get fucking shot. So
Let's just get straight to the point. Give me my ticket, do your job, and go the fuck home. Because we're not trying to play out here
'Cause I'm
and
trying
worry
to
about our
actually make it
life.
to work this morning.
Right.
Yeah.
This
I can't
man,
even
for real. So yeah,
get it
y'all. So moral of
started.
the story is just as ignorant as this world may be, and as ignorant as some. Not
As it
all
is.
officers are bad. Not all Caucasian.
Shout out to y'all.
officers are
And I
bad.
follow one of y'all on Snapchat.
And not all
I'm just
black
kidding.
people just walking on the side of the road are bums or homeless or gonna rob you in 10.5 seconds.
Exactly.
It does not automatically
stop
mean
being
that.
racist.
Stop being racist. And even if you aren't racist, just stop being judgmental. We do understand, hey, some black people are on the side of the road selling drugs, and that's probably what they thought Alton Sterling was doing. But regardless of what he's doing,
Know your facts.
exactly, know your
Investigate.
facts. Exactly. And ask questions too.
Exactly.
That's like a rule of the world. Ask first. Like, how about you ask?
Right.
And then my thing is, right back to the Philando situation. It's just like he asked him whether he had a gun, whatever it was. He was pulled over for a broken taillight that probably wasn't even broken. So they say he ask him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ask him what's going on. Ask him this. Like, but the thing is, he probably had no question to ask him because he had no reason to pull him over.
Besides him having a big nose.
Besides him having a big nose. So it's just like, that's where it just goes to show, like, there's something missing on the table. He didn't ask any questions because he ain't have none to ask. Why?
He just wanted to get his lucky day, and he knew he was going to get away with it.
He just wanted to be big shot. He
wanted his numbers up. That's
office.
it.
Oh, I caught the bad guy. I caught the perp. You ain't do shit. You ruined your life. That's what you did.
You're a pussy nigga.
Hooray. Hoorah to you.
I don't care.
And he's still getting paid on his leave from his job, isn't he? I think he's just
salary.
Exactly. He's just still getting paid.
Right. But yeah, I'm not gonna rant about this for too long because we all gonna start sweating because this is a very
hot and 88 hot
subject. Just always be safe out here. Please just don't be ignorant.
Just be aware of your surroundings and comply. Exactly.
That's just always remember that
we'll give it to you raw
and not shoot.
Y'all. 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 Y'all.